Another open dragon mail for you guys, and let's talk furcons. And that's pretty much the only thing I'm going to be talking about here, because most of the stuff in the furry community has been around 3 different cons, and I'll get to each of them. I'll start with the one that I've been to last week, Fursquared, which Milwaukee is actually pretty nice. Very cold, yes. I really had to bundle down. Even when I arrived, I saw some piles of snow, even though I was told that it hadn't snowed there in quite a while. But, Fursquared. And it's getting into the medium-sized convention now, as their attendance has reached 1,101. And they have actually now become the most charitable furcon, relying on ratio to amount donated. The attendance to amount donated. Out of the 1,101 attendees, they managed to raise $21,000 even. That is about $20 per attendee. And from what I've been told, if you go by that statistic, that would make them actually the 3rd most charitable convention of any kind in the world, which is really impressive. And I saw the video. I didn't attend closing ceremonies because I'm not good at that stuff, but I saw a video of the chair, Alkali. He wept for like a good while when he realized how much money the convention had raised. So that's how powerful the furry community can be. So I do expect their number to keep rising for quite a while. I'll have some videos uploaded a little later. But right now I'm holding off on them because that I'm having laptop issues. I got a warning on there telling me that the hard drive is about to fail. So I've ordered a new laptop, and I did back up everything into my external hard drive. So I'm holding off on uploading those videos until I get my new laptop in. Then I'll put everything online for you guys. Because I don't know when, because my hard drive is now a ticking time bomb. So it could go up at any moment. So we'll see what happens. It's just I'm lucky that my birthday is actually this coming week on Wednesday, March 7th, where I turned 29. So I dread this, but it's now only got 1 year left before I officially become a gray muzzle. Oh, I hate thinking about that. Oh, so, but with my attendance at Fursquared, that now makes me officially this is 10 years that I've attended furcons. My first one was back in 2008 in February at Furry Week in Atlanta, and back when what was it, the Hilton? It's been a long time. So a year after the Tumbles a Stair Dragon incident. But yeah, I see the furry community has changed quite a bit over the years. Quite a bit to the left of note, but let's see. Was there anything else I need to talk about Fursquared? Like I said, it was Dungeons and Dragons themed. I was the super sponsor there. I did get a set of D&D dice, and I'm learning to play the game. So, and it sounds complex on the outside, but it takes some time to get used to. What else was there? I did get 2 different glasses. One of them's kind of like a beer mug, and one just a regular glass. Each of them has the Fursquared logo on them. I do have video of that on my camera. I'll upload those when I get the chance. And we also got a poster, which actually includes all the sponsors and super sponsors in that poster, including myself. It might be uploaded somewhere, maybe on Twitter if you want to search for that. But I am in there, so watch for that. Yeah, I've only fursuited once the entire con as Spica, and that was for the Fursuit Parade. And one, because I was pretty much dead tired early at the con, and two, I got to get some repairs done. The zipper on the back of his head actually broke, so I got to get some minor repairs done to his head, and he'll be back in action. Luckily, I still got a few more months until my next appearance, so not really worried about that. The second convention I wanted to talk about, Anthro, New England. What was their stats? I know they had a lot more attendees, at least 2,000, if I'm correct. And yeah, this is the one in Boston. Let's see. Let me look up the number. New England. But there was some issues there, but I'll get to those in a minute. Right now, I just want to get the number. A total of 2,050 attendees, and they've raised $25,461.68. And many of the comments I've been seeing on Twitter that people had a good time. There were some issues, however, mainly involving the hotel staff and the security there. People have been getting visits from hotel staff because of noise complaints, even though that supposedly the ones getting the visits are saying that they're not being noisy at all. They're just at normal level. In fact, I went through the Yelp page for this particular hotel, and there's been some complaints of how thin the walls are. And the other thing is that like I said, security. There's been reports of them name calling. There's also one report of maybe an assault. Someone putting their hands on someone. So, as far as the image for the hotel security, that is no good. And in fact, the security group that was there is actually a contractor hired by the hotel. But the hotel apologized, and they are actually working with Anthro New England to fix these problems. They are willing to try to work things out. But yeah, some of those experiences left a bad taste in some of the attendees' mouths. But I think that they have a contract for at least through 2019, if I'm correct. Because usually hotel contracts last 2 to 3 years, usually. Let's see, and and this was their first year at this particular hotel. Their original, they had just moved from Hyatt Regency Cambridge. So we'll see what happens from here. Whether they decide to give, it's Boston Park Plaza. So we'll see if they give them another chance, or they decide to terminate the contract early and go to another hotel, but I don't think that's going to happen. And this, the third convention I want to talk about is Califur, even though that their convention is not going to be for another few months. But an issue has arisen. As of a few days ago, Califur had announced that the hotel that was hosting them decided to cancel on them. They terminated their contract, and according to Califur, it was because of the issues they had last year concerning with the appearance of PETA, lots of phone calls from someone, which I will get to in just a moment. But people are asking about refunds from Califur, and right now they're holding off on that for a time being because they're frantically busy trying to find another convention as well as having to work in their personal lives as well. So just give them some time, guys, because there's only so much that they can do. Because right now they're just frantic on just trying to find another venue to try to get you a convention this year. So, but there's already accusations all around on who was the one that did this, and many are pointing the finger at Alt Furry. And not the first time that this has happened. People blaming them, but everyone is referring to a photo released by Dogpatch Press. And I've already said in the past how much I hate that group, Dogpatch Press, how they are so biased and how bad some of the reporting is. But they put up a portion of the Discord chat of Alt Furry about how they were planning to put in lots of phone calls over there and disrupting a baby fur panel. Do I like what they did? No, not at all. But Alt Furry responded by saying that they were not the ones that made the phone calls because they had called it off. Let's see. I know they posted it somewhere. Yeah, I had it just a moment ago, because they had a whole thread, because they had made their own argument on why they were not the ones that were involved in the phone calls. So just give me a minute to bring that up. But they have said that their entire thread is open to the public for those that want to see it. Okay, so... Alright, so I'll start from the top of the thread. Here's what they said in their Twitter thread. They said, according to Califur, the difficulties last year came from a series of calls made less than 24 hours before the event started. And by then, the leader of the group, Lenz Gilbert, had already changed his name from his Third Reich name. The calls being cited and passed around was at least a week before the event, and the person left their server after he talked with him about not involving them in the prank calls. So, what Alt Furry is saying is that the person had left them before they could have done anything to. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. The person left their chat server after he told this person not to involve them with the calls. And like I said, their logs are open to the public, and he says there was no activity or chatter about them calling during that 24-hour period because he had called it off. Now, this next one, there's a dispute. He says there were never plans to call and make threats. Only correspondence I had was a public tweet. Now, this is now, I hate to go back to the Dogpatch Press photo, but there's a dispute on that because the photo had showed the chat saying that there was a plan for that. If I can go back to the yes, give me one more second. I'm going to bring up the photo I'm talking about. I mean, it has the whole log, or rather a portion of the log. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to read the thread that I'm talking about. Okay, so here is what the thread. Alright, so here's what the thread says. And I'm not going to put in names on this chat. I'm just going to read what each of the things says. If you guys call the... pardon me. If you guys call the hotel, make sure to cover up your legit phone number. Although the hotel may not care about the number. If they don't respond on Twitter, I will Skype call them. Better yet, a good idea of advice is watch the panel, see what's up. They won't respond on Twitter, now the implication is there, and if the panel does happen and it is full of pedophiles, then we have new rings of pedophiles formed. I'm doing it, there's no reason to give this the benefit of the doubt. So there's a contradiction here, because there's a chat log saying that there's a chat log saying that they were never plans to make calls and make threats. Well, but like I said, this chat contradicts that. Their next point was the proof is right from Califur's website itself. Their words were that the situation got out of control with mass calls 24 hours before the event. Those actions caused security difficulties. It was simply not us. And they put a link, a screenshot from the Califur website. Well, actually not the website. I think this is their Tumblr, if I'm correct. Yeah, this is on their Tumblr. And I'm just going to read portions of it to see what he's talking about. This one paragraph says, 24 hours before the convention took place is when things started to boil over. The venue had received massive amounts of calls by users making use of VoIP. It was a mix of PETA as well as unknown users posing as media, law enforcement, and various sources. We wouldn't know that PETA was also making contact until we were on site for the convention, as that information was not given to us at this point. Because of the high volume calls, the type of people contacting, their word use, and their use of VoIP, pardon me, to slam the venue with calls, law enforcement had to be contacted. The venue saw the convention as a possible risk and removed without authorization from the convention bank account $4,000 on top of the $4,600 that already removed prior to this 24-hour period. The chairwoman, noticing this unauthorized withdrawals, and contacted the venue. She was given the following choice: either provide an additional $24,000 and cancel the panel that a majority of the calls were about, or the convention would be canceled due to safety concerns. Law enforcement was going to be on site regardless if the convention happened or not, since the level of the threat and sheer volume of calls had concerned the venue, with Califur footing the bill. So, citing safety and the well-being of attendees, they canceled the panel and paid the money to prevent the convention shut down due to safety concerns. They ended up footing the bill for the extra law enforcement on site as well as EMTs, something not included in the amounts that was listed. They go on to say, "We are happy to do this if it meant that the venue felt more secure in us being there. In the end, they were unneeded but were good to have on site." Their next point was, I don't know who it was, by then there were a bunch of internet trolls, including Kiwi Farms, following the situation. It could have been them or any other troll group that typically does this kind of thing. Even PETA showed up unannounced that day. From what I remember, I think PETA said that they were not protesting them, if I remember correctly. Their eighth point, I contacted LAPD Califur in Discord the day after and told them I'd tell them everything I knew. Never heard back from any party. But in the past, whoever runs the Califur Twitter liked a tweet of mine explaining basically this much. Their next point, and finally, Femboy Lolcal, aka Rocketsnay, had been following this from Kiwi Farms from before it even started. He methodically chronicled the entire event out of his own morbid interest in it. So that is what Alt Furry is countering the argument with. I'm going to leave judgment up to you, but I'm still trying to gather in information, so I'm not making any judgment just yet. Although there are some stuff on Alt Furry's side that I do question. So, how long have I gone for? 22 minutes already? I guess I was rambling on about Califur. There is one other thing that I do need to talk about, and that's the Ursa Major Awards. The votes are now open. There are 12 categories. I'll go through a few of the categories with the nominees. For Best Motion Picture, we have Ferdinand, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, My Little Pony the Movie, Rock Dog, War for the Planet of the Apes. For Best Dramatic Series or Short Work, we have Doodle Tunes, DuckTales, the 2017 reboot, Here's the Plan, Kuka and BB, Mascot Fur Life, MLP Friendship is Magic, and OKKO Let's Be Heroes. Best Novel, we have Always Great in Winter, Black Friday, Kismet, Otters in Space 3, Octopus Ascending, and The Wayward Astronomer. Let's see. I was curious on this, but Best Magazine, really, Dogpatch Press, you put them in again? Come on. Flayra, furryfandom.es, never heard of them. Infernation and Typewriter Emergencies, Journal of Furry Literature. And one other one I want to go into, Best Game. We have Cuphead. Play that game. It is very hard, but very beautiful. Night in the Woods, Sonic Mania, Star Fox 2, and Yooka-Laylee. That's a tough one. Alright, so that's just some of the categories that are up for voting. The winners will be announced at FurDU on May 4th through 6th. So that is it for me. I've done enough rambling. I guess that is the consequence of getting old. This Dragon's Mouth is now closing.